I finally saw One Punch Man. No surprise, One Punch Man is awesome. What stood out to me most was how it delivered an underlying message through the use of good laughs. Along with the good laughs, it's got a lot of soul in it. In Sugoi Japan interview with Murata and One, they talked about gaps in the original design, and I quote, "By utilizing my original design, it added even more gap I was drawing. I was trying to make Genos and Sonic look a lot cooler than Saitama to add the gap between them." It goes a lot further than design if you look at how the first season plays out. By using gaps, it delivers an underlying theme, a theme of persistence and hard work. Let me explain. Most shonen anime have the same theme by introducing a stronger antagonistic force, and the protagonist must find a means to get stronger. This trope is cyclical in their respective series. One Punch Man is unique by not only poking fun at the genre, but also distancing itself away from shonen storytelling conventions. You are then brought closer than ever to the same message. That's the gap, this contrast with One Punch Man's characters and the shonen conventions. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Everybody has his or her favorite scene in the anime, but my favorite is this scene here.
What are you, some kind of freak? How in the hell did you get that strong?
It's a great scene that really encapsulates One Punch Man. It's anti-humor, which is a type of indirect humor that plays on the audience expectations. And when it intentionally subverts our expectations, the irony of itself is of comedic value. You can find this sort of technique employed by well-known comedians such as Eric Andre and Bo Burnham. One Punch Man as a whole can be seen as anti-humor, but what many of you can say surely is that One Punch Man is a parody or satire on the shonen conventions. Using Dragon Ball Z as a reference, the creme de la creme of shonens, you don't get the long, overdrawn fights. Is Saitama fighting to save the Earth?
Just a guy who's a hero for fun.
Does he look cool? Sometimes, but more often than not, he looks more like us. Shonen anime typically have their characters undergo a special training. So what does Saitama do? That gets us back to this scene.
No, it is too risky. He must not let them know his secret.
We learn there's no real special secret training he goes through, at least to us.
It took me a full 3 years to get this strong. 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and 100 squats. Then a 10-kilometer run! Do it every single day!
Breakfast is a must, and no AC or heater on hot or cold nights.
In the beginning, you'll wish you were dead.
That's all it takes to be the strongest hero. I laughed and I started to ask if there was more to this moment. I asked, wait a minute, who among the characters in the One Punch Man universe actually did the training themselves? The answer is none, at least at the moment. The question was easy to answer because One has given us overdramatic expository backstory to characters. The use of origin stories demonstrates how characters are dependent of methods to be greater. While Saitama's greatest strength is himself, most characters rely on tools, special techniques and abilities, and perhaps even shortcuts to define their strengths. This isn't a bad thing in a storytelling standpoint because the diversity of characters only lends to the visual intrigue of the universe. In this universe, Saitama's truly special in his way of training because there really isn't anyone else who even gave his training a shot, even when the results are in front of them. What's more poignant is how the characters scoff at the training.
You're so
Full of crap!
There's something eerily familiar about this. I'm reminded of how I felt when I first watched the 2005 TED Talk with Richard St. John about the 8 Secrets of Success. Link in the description if you'd like to check out that talk. If you've seen the video, let me ask you, were you at all surprised? It wasn't to me because these secrets were all familiar ideas, simple ideas compared to the larger-than-life success. There's a gap here that's going to take a lot of work to bridge. It's refreshing to see this message delivered in a unique and clever way. At times, this message can be loud and heavy-handed in other anime. This subtle theme is reinforced when you take a look at One's start in the industry. His storytelling, like many other creators, is defined by their personal challenges and interests. There's a lot to understand about One, based off of the 2012 interview with web magazine Tokyo Remei Note. Forgive me for butchering that name. When asked about what kind of response he got from friends that saw his works, he noted that he kept drawing manga from grade school onward, and I quote, never told anyone about it, end quote. It was this part of the interview that gave me better insight on One in the following. And I quote, my parents got angry at me a few times when they found out I had drawn a gag manga called Middle-Aged Man in my notebooks. In fact, it filled up about 50 notebooks just with manga. But what hurt the most wasn't getting chewed out for goofing off, rather, it was having something I loved to do be rejected. Afterwards, I decided that instead of getting made fun of or rejected, and losing my motivation, it was better not to show anybody, so I kept drawing manga all by myself. While watching One Punch Man, I saw One in Saitama, especially in this scene when he gets ridiculed for being a phony. Based off the interviews I've read, I can't help but think that these are the voices of friends and family who discouraged him. His inner fears of what it would look like if people found out he did manga. Then, in that burst of emotion, One shows everyone that he is doing it for him, not to get approval from anyone else. A comedian, George Carlin, once said, a comedian shouldn't just make them laugh, he should also make them think. In a similar capacity, Mary Hirsch, humorist, said that humor is a rubber sword. It allows you to make a point without drawing blood. To me, it's a message, a point, that there is no real secret to reach your dreams. So, what is the truth to One Punch Man? One is optimistic about what we are capable of at the core. The truth to One Punch Man is be the best version of you that you can possibly be. Work for your goals by giving it 100%, mind, body, and soul. Don't ever compromise a part of yourself, and as tempting as it may be, there are no shortcuts or special abilities to get you there. It's perfectly fine to have your own flavor, but don't ever for a second doubt your inner potential. Take a look at how the season starts and ends, and the message you'll find underneath the humor is that the journey itself will be your greatest challenge.